What's going on, family out there? This is your host, John, aka Jay David, and you are listening to episode 6 of the Cavalier Convos podcast. So tonight, with a few of my friends here, got my boys Kenny and Brian with Charlotte Kickbacks. What's good, fellas?
What's up?
And we got a few things we're gonna talk about tonight on this program. We're gonna cover. The topic is gonna be on the natural black woman. We're gonna discuss a few things. But prior to that, man, I wanted to just kind of let the audience know a little bit about y'all in regards to Charlotte Kickbacks. First of y'all personally, obviously, a little bit about y'all background and what you guys are doing in Charlotte.
Kenny, graphic designer, real estate investor. I've been in Charlotte 12 years.
Yeah, you a vet.
13 years, actually. This should be 13 years. A little bit about Charlotte Kickbacks. Simply just a community of people who just like to spend time doing anything outside of what people may call conventional, like the club, stuff like that.
The house party feel.
Yeah. Kickbacks, house parties, cookouts, excursions, outings, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So there's just a forum on Facebook where people can post what they're doing, and other people, if they want to be down, they can...
You just on Facebook only?
Oh, no. We got the IG too. Facebook is where all the action is. IG, you'll see evidence of some of the things that happen. Charlotte Kickbacks is it's just facebook.com/Charlotte Kickbacks, and Instagram is @Charlotte Kickbacks. Pretty simple.
Dope. And Brian, man, kind of give us a little bit about your background, brother.
I've been in Charlotte a little bit over a year now. I'm originally from San Antonio, Texas. Been around the world. I was in the Army, retired vet. But here in Charlotte, I'm a fitness professional trying to improve the city one rep at a time.
Got you. Go tell the people your IG real quick.
I'm at Train with Brian. If you're looking for something to get into to help you get fitter and better, go ahead and look me up. You know what I mean? And I'll take care of you.
Dope. So all my people in the Charlotte area, go follow my brothers here. And let's get into this, man. So we talking about natural black women. I think all of us could agree that we love our black women.
Absolutely.
We all were raised, we all came from a woman, got our game from a woman.
Got a name from a woman.
Hey. Right? So, yeah, man, we're going to get into this and kind of talk about the image of the black woman, get into some things that, maybe a little controversial, maybe not, depending on who's listening. But first question, man, I wanted to just kind of address this. I guess, what do you feel about the current standard of beauty when it comes to our women?
I think that it's starting to return to a place that's extremely respectable. It's kind of like this big fight with social media, other people's beauty standards. So it's like this, all these other things that kind of salt the game up.
Yeah.
But I find it easier for people to just be natural because it doesn't take any work.
Mm-hmm.
And it's good to see a lot of people glorifying it. Like, this is how you were made. Here are, some of your better features. Why are you not just flaunting that the way that it is? So many people out here that like it. I know I do.
I love it.
Yeah. But I think we're getting back, and I thank a lot of the women for that, a lot of black women for that. I think we're getting back to a very respectable general level, and a lot of this funny stuff, it's more trendy, with the installations, these Lego parts,
Yeah.
and all these other things. I mean, it's still a big industry, but it's starting to seem more like, if you're, I don't want to say shallow, because then I think it feels like I'm taking a shot at people, but for those who like that kind of thing, it's now to a point where that kind of thing is just sort of, it's a fad, it's trendy, and you're a trendy person if you do it.
Yeah.
That's kind of how I look at it generally.
Gotcha.
Well, I just feel like the black woman is finally embracing their beauty and not trying to conform to the white woman standard with the perm, straightening their hair, dyeing it blonde, getting the enhancements and stuff like that. That's not what we do. You know what I mean? Now the other race is trying to imitate the black woman.
They're going out of their way, man.
Think about that.
Way
Think about how the standard was back in the day when you would look at the movies. It was all about what? You know what I mean? I'm not going to put it out there, but you know what I'm saying? Now it's all about what? So I'm saying the Nicki Minaj's and Cardi B's and their assets and stuff. You know what I mean?
I don't know. I find it weird when people go out of their way to look different.
Listen to this, right? I don't think I could trust a woman whose makeup, not makeup like his face, but as far as like their physical structure is made up.
I agree.
like I would feel like, and you could people call it what you want, but I would feel there would be some type of character flaw in you to make you go out of your way to alter what God gave you.
I would take it a step further. I would say it's probably a little more mental.
Of course, it's mental.
Kind of in the same way how social media has revealed literally like textbook narcissism from so many people.
True.
And I think with all these superficial body parts and enhancement and all this other stuff, I think it's just as psychologically negative as the narcissism you see on, Facebook or Instagram or Snapchat.
Yeah, but
they're spending money on this stuff.
Before social media, people were still getting enhancements because
they were.
It was low self-esteem, or they saw that one person sitting next to them and they wanted to be just like that.
It's still low self-esteem, but body dysmorphia is like way more rampant.
Yeah.
It's way more rampant now.
Yeah, but I would say even back then when they used to do it, it wasn't to the degree of what we're seeing now.
That's true. Not at all. Like they weren't tearing themselves up,
but now
looking like a whole different person.
True. With social media though, now they got all these different images coming out. I'm like, I want to look like that, but I want to look like that.
The aesthetic. Yeah, they're trying to go for a certain aesthetic look. So women are going out of their way in regards to just trying to.
And they always going for the latest and greatest fad.
But here's the funny part: as dumb as people want to make the male gender out to be, most men don't actually like that.
And most men, no, they don't.
You know what I mean? So it's like, really, who are you doing that for? These handful of guys, like these handful of assholes.
Yeah.
Handful, like literally.
Handful, yeah.
Literally a handful.
A lot of them just want that attention, whether it's good or bad.
Yeah, and because,
half the time they won't accept the attention they get for it.
No, they want the attention, well, like I said, whether good or bad. That's why they put it on Instagram and on Facebook and stuff. They want those likes. They want people to comment on it, whether it's good or bad. They want that attention.
Yeah.
Well, okay, I get you. Like, it doesn't matter what it is.
Yeah.
Any attention is...
Hey, what they say? All publicity is good publicity.
Pose a question in regards to, like, yeah, we know the media plays a certain role in that, right? But what role do we as a community, black men specifically, because obviously we play a role in how our sisters view themselves. What role do we play, though?
Letting them know that they're beautiful as they are, that they don't have to go out through all that to impress us. Like, look, honey, you're beautiful. Your nappy hair, your golden brown skin, without the makeup, without all that extra stuff added onto it. You don't need any of that.
Here's the problem with that, though. Now, granted, I would never say don't do that. I would never say that.
You gotta give them that confidence.
Continue to do it until it starts to become something they accept. However, the problem is that they don't even accept what we're telling them. So, okay, let's just say something simple, like a woman who says that she needs to lose weight. Let's say like this is your girl or this is somebody that you spend a lot of time with. And then they say that they need to lose weight. And you look at her and be like, what weight do you need to lose? Do you understand what you do to me? With what you got up here and down here, do you understand? And telling her all these good, real things.
See, but that's a self-help kind of thing. You can't determine if just because you like her that way doesn't mean that she's comfortable.
Well, I'm not even saying that this is somebody who's actually overweight. This is someone.
You
don't have to be overweight to be unhealthy, though.
Yeah, I'm not talking about anybody who's unhealthy.
No, we're just talking about the way they look.
Like someone who is absolutely. You can't look at them and say like you could stand to lose a few pounds. And then they say they want to lose something like 20 pounds when they don't realize how heavy 20 pounds is.
Gotcha.
That's a lot. Like, seriously, that's a lot of weight.
Gotcha.
And as much as you tell them about how beautiful they are, and you're putting it in their face and you believe it, like you know this.
You're not playing.
They still don't care. So, like you said, you still need to give them that enforcement. I think that we probably just need to do it over and over and over until it becomes something accepted. But I also think that we need to express our dislike for all this other stuff, because I don't think there's enough of that. And I'm not saying that anybody's getting body shamed, because I know that's the word that wants to get thrown around a lot.
Nowadays, they got a word for everything.
Yeah. But be more vocal about the things that we don't like physically or the things that people are doing to their bodies, or whether it's installing or whether it's just doing something so much like heavy makeup, lots of weave.
That's another thing.
Nails galore.
See, you want to get them. What we're talking about right now, what your reference is when they're older. That's your girl. I mean, like, I have a daughter. I tell her all the time, baby, you're beautiful just like you are.
Yeah, exactly.
You start young like that, if you had just tell your son, hey, you're a strong black man. You can be more than just a basketball player, a football player. You can be this, and this. You start young like that, and so that's all they hear as they're growing up. So by the time they get to that age of 18, 19, 20, it's already in their head.
So we have to do that, but that still gives us more of it's like a delayed solution because they are young people and they haven't gotten to where.
But you're building generations. So you can't just talk about right now. So you start young, you get them to that point, and guess what they're going to do when they have kids? They're going to teach them the same thing.
But what do we do right now about all these grown folks who have spent literally the last 10 to 15 years creating this?
I get called a pessimist a lot. There's nothing you can do with those Negroes.
I was about to say that. Like sometimes, hey, if you're stubborn, you're stubborn.
You get to a point where it's like you're too old for me to really focus on changing you. So my thing is I just embrace the people who embrace themselves. Really, I have a lot of female friends, right? And I always try to let them know, just be confident in who you are. You don't have to really be out here. You don't have to put on all this makeup. You don't have to wear, these blonde wigs. You don't got to do all these different things. Now, if you do it, I mean, like I said, I'm not going to judge you and call you an infidel and nothing like that for doing it. But you know what I'm saying? But you know what I'm saying? But I get, and all the fake nails. But it's just the thing where it's it's fake nails, fake eyelashes, fake hair, fake eyebrows. If that's what makes you feel comfortable, I mean, I get it. But at the end of the day, I want you to love the stuff. I don't feel comfortable. I don't want to date a woman like that.
You got to take off your whole face.
Yeah, you have to take off everything.
I mean, but there are a lot of people that they're not even doing that. And even if they are, they don't want you to see them. I'm like, you don't need, and when I mean any of it. Our women don't need that. They really don't. Let's throw in a little caveat here. So people do all of this stuff that is harder to remove outside of surgery, but just, the nails, the makeup, the weaves, all the stuff that they go through to add those things. So how do we, or what do we think about, considering we're in a culture where there are a ton of photographs, what do we think about people that can't take pictures without filters?
I think it's...
Especially if you're not meeting them in person.
Yeah.
Oh, you don't start it.
I've met people like that, man.
You know what I mean?
I've met people like that.
If you're on any kind of dating app and I come across your picture and you got a Snapchat filter or anything, automatic just no.
I try to keep things very simple. So in the real world, if they got on just too much stuff and it's the kind of thing where I'll never ever see you without it, there's only certain kinds of relationships we can really have because I know I'm not going to ever really get to know you and you're not going to allow me to. Mm-hmm. In terms of people that I have not met in the real world and what I see online, I keep it really simple. If a majority of what you have is mad doctor, I would be very reluctant to even speak to you.
You know, the crazy thing is I remember Photoshop. When there was I was in how many? That was years ago.
That was years ago.
And, you used to really have to work hard to alter these photos at a lot of these. And it's not as often now because now what you just do is you can throw on, you can just put it in a app or something now.
And they'll do it for you.
A lot of those is literally just a set of commands in Photoshop or another software.
Oh my God.
And so when you throw it into, you run it into the app, it basically just runs those sets of commands to do the same thing over and over again. To do the same thing over and over again.
It's crazy, man.
But yeah, if I see too many, a majority of their images.
I'm saying, if your picture has any kind of Snapchat filter,
I don't care where it is. I don't care where it is. If it's just regular social media.
Yeah, I'm just saying.
I can't.
I mean, it's weird, man. Because I don't see it a lot on my social media because it's just the people I follow. I just refuse to follow that kind of. I don't follow all these some dudes these IG models or these.
Oh no, I don't.
Big butt
nope.
joints.
Nope.
I just can't do it because same reason why I don't follow a lot of rappers on social media. The reason why is because they're showing me something that's not real.
It's not real life.
Nobody can actually live and be this 24/7.
No.
So it's I like to live in reality.
Yeah, at least mine.
I feel you. A lot of people I follow are in the fitness world. You know what I mean? Something that I can relate to and I can do what they're doing.
I don't follow certain people. I have, there's certain music artists who I'm fans of. I will not follow them on social media because of the fact just watching that, it's not real life. And I think it's a similar thing with the women. It's what happened in your life? You got to think about this. What happened in your life that makes you not comfortable with who you are? I'll say this one thing, because my sisters, they have no problem wearing their natural hair. They have no problem walking around with no makeup. And part of it, I think, is because my mom ain't had no problem doing it.
Yep, that's how my mom was.
So they
when she
saw
was
my, you know what I
around.
mean, my mom ain't never really, you know, I've never seen my mom with a wig on.
But you know what's dope though? Women who are primarily just more natural about their appearance, I think that you can actually deduce a number of different positive social characteristics and other things just based on the fact that they are comfortable in their own skin the way that they are.
Yeah, I love a confident woman. So, like you said,
That's the sexiest thing in the
dang,
world.
if she confident and she shows it in the way she carries herself and how she looks, like without all that fake stuff, just, look, I'm comfortable in my skin. This is me. Take it as it is. If not, oh well, on to the next one. That's attractive.
You know, my number one thing that I see as far as being natural, the number one thing that I see where I know without knowing anything about them that I cannot question their level of confidence in themselves if they're able to rock either shortcuts or boy cuts.
Mm-hmm.
If I see that, and especially if it's not something that they've just done their whole life or something,
Yeah.
they just extremely comfortable with cutting their hair, considering we know, regardless of race, how women are attached to their hair.
To their hair, yeah.
So when I meet or see a woman can be just a normal functioning person in society with a very, very short cut, I know for a fact, I might not know anything about them, but I can bet the ranch on it that I cannot question her level of confidence.
Yeah, that's facts.
I can bet the ranch on it.
That's facts.
And then when I know people who are getting ready to do it, I'd be like, do that. I'd be like, do it. Just go ahead, do that.
Yeah, like I like
do that.
I like that. Like, I mean, for me, it's just like the confidence aspect. It's like, and then as men, we have to obviously instill confidence in our women. Whether that's, your wife, your girlfriend, your partner, your daughters, your nieces, whoever, you got to instill confidence in a black woman. The same thing, because I always talk to, like, when I talk to like my female friends, I'm like, yo, like, you got to instill confidence in a black man, right?
True.
If you want a man that's going to be able to lead you and things, when you come around one, you got to instill that confidence in him, because obviously it'll in turn turn around and it'll reciprocate back to you. Same thing like with us, like, if we want a woman that's going to be willing for us to lead, you have to put out a certain energy, and we have to let her know, like, to be confident and secure in herself, because that's the only way that she'll allow you to lead is when she's confident and secure in herself, because she won't see it as, you're trying to control her. I mean, that's another thing, but let's kind of continue talking here. Oh yeah, I was looking at, and the funny thing, right? I remember when I was younger, a little younger, not a lot younger, but a little younger. I remember like the yellow bones were a thing in high school. That was a term that they always used to, the yellow bones in high school. It was probably, it's like mid 2000s, early 2000s.
It was 99, 2000.
Now we're telling age.
Yo, so
now we're
right,
telling age. That's what we're going to do now.
So right,
House party.
How much do you feel color, paper bag tests, all that stuff, how do you feel how that plays into our level of attraction when it comes to certain black women? Because there was a time where we put more value on, I'm saying we generally, but we put more value on that for some reason.
So we talking about like in today's time, right?
Yeah, is it still something today?
Today, not as much. Not
I don't
much
see it as much either. Right?
They're starting to overlook the whole paper bag test, like you say. So they just see, one, because they're empowering women of all shades. And a couple of these movies that came out that depicted a whole lot of, our chocolate sisters.
Lupita.
You know what I mean? Yeah, Lupita. She has my heart right there.
Yeah.
But
I can go off on a tangent on that one.
yeah. But I think the world has finally just got rid of that whole light skin, dark skin.
Well,
woman.
the world has not. I think our community has, to an extent, got rid of it.
Well, I know as a black man of a darker
we
pigment,
are the world, right?
Yeah, you know what I mean. We do run the world. We do have the power. But as a black man of a darker pigment than some other people, I do see my dark-skinned sisters getting a lot more respect nowadays than they did in the past. So
I'll say that colorism in terms of a standard of beauty, it still exists.
It does.
But I'll agree that I would say that as a standard of beauty that I see it less. However,
as the standard.
Right.
Yes.
However, I see colorism more now when it comes to personal characteristics. That if you are of a particular shade, this is how you act.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're this shade, this is how you act. And the wild part is colorism existed more before, literally, when it came to beauty. And the lighter you were, the closer to white that you were, the more beautiful you were. Therefore, the darker you were, the more like unattractive you were. And now it's kind of like this flip side with, as far as different shades of blackness, is like the lighter you are, either the more sedity, uppity,
bougie,
or even outside of that, mean. Like some of those characteristics are not necessarily negative ones, but it's the fact that there's a generalization. But there are some negative ones too, like being like mean or stubborn or violent or all these different things. And it's like just people just won't let colorism go.
Question, right? Y'all both Greek, right?
I am.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. Kenny, you're Greek.
Yeah.
Light-skinned girls associated with AKs.
Okay, so in Greekdom, the stereotypes are so strong and then literally never seen, except for maybe a few. And those are the ones that are glorified. So in terms of how someone looks, whether you're at a HBCU or whether you're at a PWI, like you're not going to be able to pin down a look. Unless this is a chapter that just does not focus on real stuff, that we actually pledge for specific dumb reasons. Mm-hmm. But you really don't see that very often. But as far as the stereotype goes, like light-skinned girls are going to be what?
AKA.
Right. But then you go and look at this AKA chapter, and let's say they've got 80 people in that chapter. 60 of them are beautiful brown-skinned to dark-skinned women. And then there were like 10 to 15 really light-skinned chicks. But you don't let go of the stereotype in terms of likeness.
Every time I see an AKA, they just happen to be a little light skinned.
No, it's just no. Well,
a little light skinned.
I say this
lighter than me.
When I was in college, the AKAs, there was a mixture of them. They weren't all light skinned. They were all bad. They were all beautiful. But even though like certain aesthetic, there was a certain aesthetic, and then you could see a certain aesthetic in like the deltas. And in the zetas, you saw it a little bit. Like you said, it was what people focused on.
There you go.
The one,
there you go.
Is what the
there you
the
go.
Everyone I ever met, I'm sorry. Everyone I ever met, like personally met, was light skinned.
But if you're also in a place where there are smaller chapters, you're more than likely to probably see some of the stereotypes just because the chapter's smaller.
Yeah, smaller.
But these larger chapters where they got lines where there be 80-something girls on one line, and they got probably like close to 200 people undergrad in the chapter. Yeah, you're not going to be able to pin anything down.
Yeah,
not one.
Yeah, facts.
Now I'm about to be out here looking like, hey, what are you?
Like, I get, well, I don't get offended, but oftentimes if I'm around people that really absolutely don't know anything about me and then they find out that I'm Greek, I don't tell them what I am. Mm-hmm. But I'll give them the opportunity to guess. And the first thing that they'll do is use a stereotype to try to figure it out because they don't know anything about me.
Yeah,
they've only been around me. Like. They've only been around for maybe 5 or 10 minutes, so we haven't even had like a real conversation. But it's like, go ahead, take a stab at it. And so they'll immediately jump to a stereotype.
What do they usually say?
So I can tell you, granted, most of the time, just in terms of my general appearance, the first thing they'll say is a Kappa. I just say no. And then I'll give them another chance. I'm still not going to say anything. And usually they'll get it right pretty quickly. Mm-hmm. But most of the time, I say most of the time, not like a large, vast amount of the time, but most of the time they get it wrong because they apply a stereotype first.
Yeah.
Like there are people in my chapter, if they did the same thing, or like other alphas in other places, that they did the same thing, and at their appearance, we could literally get a whole nother organization. Literally, somebody will guess, this one of my frat brothers, they'll see him, and they'd be like, yeah, you look like a Q. So their response to you asking them, what organization do you think I'm a part of? Their answer is, you look like a such and such. Mm-hmm. As opposed to, I think you may be they'll say, the first thing they'll say is like literally verbiage. You look like a, so I wasn't aware that.
You got to look.
There's a particular.
It's like that with the military though, because I had a woman come to me like, you look like you're military. Like, I didn't know we had a look this close.
I didn't know. I didn't know that either. Unless them white boys be having them box cuts and stuff.
I didn't have no box cut. I had like a 5 o'clock shadow going.
That's what I was about to say. If they're talking about like you're mad retired, and then still say you have a military look?
Oh no! I got dreads and a full beard now. I'm talking about I was in the service, but I also had a shaving profile. I get a low cut fade all the time though. You know what I mean? And I have literally a 5 o'clock shadow. How do I look?
I always go by facial hair.
5 o'clock shadow? Come on.
I always go by facial hair because more times than not, a man is he's gonna actually use his facial hair. More times than not. I can understand if you like 18 and it's a little, peach fuzzy or whatnot. So it's kind of like easy for you to be
29.
barefaced. But a majority of the time, a man will wear his facial hair. So
That's a whole nother topic.
if I,
But now let's now kind of going back in the subject though, because like when it comes to like dating preferences, right? People try to assume because you have a certain preference that you are shallow. So like if you don't like certain women who have a certain skin tone, you're considered, you're colorist, or I don't know what the words are, right? They got all types of different stigmas that they put on people because of their preferences. Now, as far as my preferences go, I just kind of I don't necessarily have a preference when it comes to a woman's like look, as far as like what I'm attracted to.
Thank you.
I have actually, like, when I think about like the women I've dated light-skinned women, chocolate, tall, short, thicker, skinny. What we're attracted to as men, I think like there's an assumption that all men are looking for a particular look. And I don't think that's the case. Am I right or am I wrong?
You're right. I don't look at confidence is the first thing that draws me to a woman, and then I go from there.
Yeah.
If I can hold a conversation with her, or like an intelligent conversation with her, that's good points right there. By the time I get to looks, I'm already attracted to it just based off her personality and her confidence. Because looks disappear.
I mean, in most cases, looks is going to be the first thing.
It gets you to the table.
The thing is if you see someone that physically attracts you, that's fine. It's to be expected. You're not in front of them.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Get you to the table.
There was not an opportunity for you to hear them before you saw them. But you're right. It kind of gets you to the table. It's like, but what happens next? Because their looks is not going to...
you could be pretty and have a...
let's not even...
Yeah.
Pretty ugly people?
Yes, that. And I met plenty of them.
Yeah, I could honestly say that I've had an assumption about a woman when I first saw her. And when I got to talking to her,
you're like,
she became one of the ugliest people I've ever met.
Ooh, about that.
And that's what I mean. Like, looks only get you so far. It'll get you to the table. After that, hey, when you open your mouth, it goes away, or it's, you keeping me there, or you... And it's the same thing for women, I'm pretty sure.
I do believe there's a huge difference between what you're attracted to and preferences.
True.
Because
I think it depends on your mood too.
Well, a preference is something that you make up, and what you're attracted to is more, and just in terms of physical attributes, is more ethereal. You know what I mean?
It's just instant.
Exactly. At a certain age, you actually figure out what those things are. Not to say that though what you find attractive ends up being your preference, because in a lot of cases that's not. That's because there's just so many other factors that make your preferences what they are. I know personally, like you, Jay, I don't have physical preferences. And as far as my friends, people I've dated, even been intimate with or whatever, there is no type. But I wonder, does it offend you when you meet someone, they don't know a lot about you, and they automatically think that you have a type?
Yes, I get that because
But does it offend you though?
It don't offend me.
It kind of makes me feel some type of way because I'm in the fitness world, so they automatically think I want somebody who's fit. Like, you know what I mean? Like, no. Yeah, that's not the first thing I'm looking for.
It don't offend me, man.
You know what I mean?
Nah, I don't think about that. I get it. This is what people do. These are people. People have assumptions. And I'm not offended. Now, like, I may, like, correct them and be like, not necessarily. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, like, there's certain women that obviously I'm attracted to, but type, nah.
I'm going to hit them with the whole, why do you think that? They're like, well, because you work out. Okay.
Yeah. So, like, because I actually, that's the thing. That's a good point. Like, I want to know, like, oh, why do you think that? What makes you think that?
I only get offended if they try to put a type on me. If you think I have a type, that's one thing.
No, they try to put a type
but
on.
But you telling me what that type is, I'm like, wow. Yeah. Like, how did you get there?
That's what, and that's what happened. I was like, so why do you, I asked her, why do you think that?
One of my friends from college, when I first met her, right, when I went to Radford, and we were like, there was a few of us out, and like, we were going out, and she was like, do you like white girls? Like straight up.
Straightforward, huh?
And I was like,
That's like a death kiss right there.
I said, I mean, like, I don't have nothing against them, but my preference, is most definitely sisters. He said, oh, you one of them few
Now,
basketball players.
I will say there, as far as race, I do have a preference. That does not mean that I'm not attracted to women of other races, but
yes, exactly.
I do actually have a preference there.
Yeah.
I could go on and on about what attracts me about black women.
Yeah. I could go on.
Back when I was in college, anything went. I'm sorry.
I mean, but that's not a bad thing.
Yeah, like
I'm just saying that I do actually have a preference. That does not mean that I'm not attracted to women.
I prefer.
No, like I can't even say I have a preference. I am making an active choice.
That's what I'm saying. I prefer. I actively choose.
I choose. Yeah. I choose to deal with, and I've made that choice for a while now.
But that goes back to what you said, that feral instinct about being attracted to people. It's just something that you just have, and you're like...
Well, the thing for me when it comes to that, and I try to, and this is going to be another episode topic.
I have a biracial daughter. My daughter is half black, half Hispanic. And so, I wasn't looking to date outside the race.
I got you.
But it was like,
the stuff happens.
I like her.
No, but the thing with me is that when it comes to black women, I actively make a choice, like, because I can't be, and this is me, right? I can't say, we got to love our daughters and we got to let them know that they're beautiful and we got to tell them, and you should still do that, regardless if they have, mixed parents or whatever. But I can't go and say that, and I can't, encourage black men to love our sisters if I don't show that example. That's just me.
Now, other sisters.
People, but if somebody else has a preference that they, obviously, are attracted to women from other races, of course. I mean, I'm not going to be, like I said, I ain't calling you an infidel. It's just something I ain't doing. I'm not doing it because I'm making an active choice to love our black women.
I'm just really black.
Yeah, like I'm saying,
seriously,
man.
Even outside of how I sound, like where I was raised, it was not very diverse, but it was very even as far as black and white people. And then there was just a little bit of other stuff. I could literally say it was like 40-40, and then the last 20 was literally everything else. Like, that's how not diverse where I'm from is.
So does it make a difference too, though, like where you grow up at and what you're surrounded by?
Absolutely.
Because when I was in high school, I went to a predominantly black school in high school, and we had 5 or 6 white people who went to the school. And to this day, I know 2 of them who were married to black people. You know what I'm saying? Because that's all they knew. That's all they were around. So you can, if you're surrounded by that, immersed in that culture, and so you're just going to naturally just gravitate towards what's around you. As in, if I was in a predominantly white school and I was only one of 300 black kids, which happened to me when I was in East Texas, I started seeing the other side of okay. But I was only there for a certain amount of time. So imagine growing up in that.
Yeah, where I was raised, it was just so regular. It's kind of like how I want to put it. So it's not like I didn't have any white friends or something like that.
Yeah.
And it was not segregated at all, like whatsoever. But growing up a black child of, in my case, an educator, I really still felt like if I wanted to have a much closer relationship to someone who was non-black, and in the case of where I was raised, most likely somebody white, I would feel like that we would still fight to find a common ground.
Yeah.
Even though we're literally raised in the same place, but still our upbringings and the things that we learn and the things that end up being important to us and our family, and those things will still be very different. And I can't stand when people get into these conversations where they talk about like people of other races liking our stuff. It's attractive. Why wouldn't someone else like it? So when it comes to like music and interests and all these other things, that's easy to find a common ground.
Yeah.
You might like it for a different reason, but the fact is that we still like it. But I still feel like as far as a relationship is concerned, for me, I would still feel like we're almost too different to really get to a point where we want to like really get it popping.
Yeah.
I just feel like that wouldn't happen. And it's just so much easier.
Could it be like it was fake in a way? Like,
well,
like you're trying too hard?
I can't say I can't say that it's that. I can say there are honestly situations that I've seen of people who are dating interracially, mainly black and white, right? Where it's a little uncomfortably I want to kind of use the words like I don't have time or energy to police people's relationships or what their preferences are.
Well,
so it doesn't matter to me what someone does. I just think that in certain cases it's like, all right, well, there's nothing wrong. Like if you're gonna do what you're gonna do, you're an adult. I don't think like that. But what I do say is that like if there's the only time I have an issue is when it's something that when it becomes a battle between black men and white men. Is when that becomes the issue with the relationship, or white women and black women, like one is better than the other.
Yeah.
That's my problem. That's the only time I have an issue with it, when it turns into that kind of conversation. But if you could just be in a relationship with someone outside of a race, like I said, I'm not here to police that. I'm not policing people's bedrooms. I'm not policing people's relationships and love lives. I don't have the energy. There's so many other things in the black community that I can't police that. So my thing is just like, for me, like I'm gonna love a black woman no matter what, because I want people to see that image and see that black love exists. And what everybody else doing is really not my business, because at the end of the day, like if black people want to get anything done, it's gonna be a small group that gets it done. It's not gonna be the masses of us. But wanted to bring this up because I am a big fan of the 90s. I grew up in the 90s, a lot of my childhood, and I remember a lot of beautiful black sisters in the 90s, 2000s. We got Sanaa Lathan,
Why you say that name? Oh, two of my top two.
Jasmine Guy.
The 90s was my decade.
Yeah.
A child of the 80s, became an adult in the 90s.
Yes. But the thing was like the aesthetic for a lot of those women, Jada Pickett, who else? A lot of women. Janet. I mean.
Miss Jackson and Gymnastics?
Yeah. I mean, like, what happened, son? Because think about it, like, we have beautiful black sisters who walked around just embracing their natural looks, they dark skin, they hair, all that. And something happened.
Social media happened.
It was before that, though, brother.
Media. It's like literally it became the 2000s and everything.
Yeah, I don't know if it's the video, the music, rap videos, or something. Something happened.
Matter of fact, yes. If you go back to the rap videos, the MTV Hot Time and BET movie videos, majority of the women in there were what? Light skin.
Yeah, really light skin. A lot of white, Hispanic women, Latinas.
And I guess that's what really brought, because that's all we saw on TV at the time. So like, I like the little light skin right there.
Exotic. Because everybody's thinking exotic look.
So,
you know what I mean? Yeah.
I ain't gonna lie, it caught my eye. I was like, okay, give me a little yellow bone up in here. But nowadays, I think the whole...
Yeah, I think it's turned back. It's turned back, man.
I think the 90s, to me, like, the 90s was a much more conscious decade then. Like, to me, the 90s was our renaissance. To be totally honest, the 90s was our renaissance. So when you think about entertainment in its gamut, TV, movies, music, all of it was better, just from front to back. What you heard, the content,
quality,
all of it was better. But then you also think about the appearance. To me, this is a really good way of thinking about it. In the 90s, in the same way that you might rock a college's paraphernalia just because you like their sports teams, we were wearing HBCU stuff whether we knew anything about the college or not.
Yeah,
true.
We were just wearing it because even if you were ignorant to what it was, there was still a certain level of representation that you wanted to have. Yeah. So it was much easier for women then to just embrace being a natural woman or have less enhancements and all this other stuff back then, because at least on our side, it was, I would say, more acceptable to a certain extent. But as far as the black standard of beauty, it was more natural, or it was more Afrocentric, or it was more black.
Yeah. It was unapologetic.
Absolutely.
Like, accept my blackness, or...
Yeah.
I mean, like, think about it. We had them called colors. And the majority of it were Pan-African colors. A majority of it was, like, you look at an 8-ball jacket, a majority of it was still Pan-African colors. Mm-hmm. And people were rocking it like crazy. And these black companies flourished. They came and went, but...
Yeah, a lot of them sold.
Yeah, with Kanai and FUBU.
Yeah, but even like, I remember watching a video. This is one of my favorite rap videos of all time. Raekwon, Ghostface Killer, Capadonna, and Method Man, Ice Cream. And you watch that video and all the different shades of black women in there, man. I was like, and you listen to that song, that song is fire song, but the video, I'm just looking like all these beautiful, like black women, like chocolate, they're saying it in the song, bro. Like, you know what I mean?
You know what's
ice cream right now?
You know,
ice cream,
actually, I can think of I can think of a couple of other videos that just, regardless of what the song was about, there were a lot of women in the video, but you still didn't see like a type. You didn't see the same shade.
Yeah, you didn't see
the same size. I can think of one off the top of my head. Danger, Mystical.
I'm trying to remember that video.
I was thinking more
Mystical.
like Nelly Tip Girl.
No.
Yeah.
Superhead was in Danger. She was in that video. She had like long blonde braids in the video. She was the only person in that video that you saw a lot, like more than anybody else. But you saw a lot of different women. You could say the same thing for like Hot in Here. You can say the same thing for like Usher's videos. Even though there might be a female lead, there were just a gamut of other women. And even some of that is still like the early 2000s, but in the 90s, at least the first half of it, you didn't really see like a ton of women in the video. And if there were, it was usually like a female lead pretty much. Outside of like from where I'm from, there's tons of booty music videos, so that was a little bit different.
yeah, Uncle Luke over there.
that was different. But just in general, like the music that we like, when you get to the second half of the 90s, partying is being more glorified, but even in those images, you still don't really see like a type.
No.
In terms of pigment, height, and all that. It's just a bunch of beautiful women
around.
And a lot of parties. You can say like a Biggie video. It's like an actual party. And it might be in the winter, so people are actually dressed.
Yeah, they're not half naked.
And still looking
fly,
immaculate, like looking great. Remember, like in Vogue. Oh my God, I don't even want to talk about the R&B women. Literally,
now R&B is a lot of the R&B women were like embracing.
Hell, look at TLC. You go from dark to light. They had all the colors.
In Vogue,
SWV.
Yeah, in Vogue, SWV, Total.
Like
Jaye, the Good Girls.
Like I said, they.
Yeah, man, it was a lot of like, it was a good time, man. I'll say that. It was a good time, and it was a lot of like just dope. It's just a lot of dope women around.
There's a perfect way to put it. It's just dope.
Yeah, man.
Like literally, it was
just
dope.
But cool, man.
God, I miss the 90s.
But yeah, like, so let's leave it off on a last point. I wanted to just kind of get your thoughts and I guess what we can encourage our sisters to do moving forward in regards to, and our brothers as well, just to make sure that, we're encouraging each other and uplifting each other.
Honestly, what you said in the very beginning of the show is that we just have to be forcefully encouraging to our black women. Even if they don't accept it, we keep doing it and we keep being consistent and being real. Like, we're not just saying it because you need it.
Yeah.
We're being absolutely honest.
Yeah.
So that, and as far as women are concerned, just there's a lot to love about yourself.
Very true.
There is. And you know more than we do. So
So start young. You know what I mean? With your daughter, start young. Instill that into them. That way they have it and they won't accept nothing less when they get older. And with your sons, instill that in them too. Like, hey, love your black woman. You know what I mean? Treat her right. Instill that confidence in her whenever you see her. Like, hey, look, sister, you bad. You know what I mean? Keep doing what you're doing. You don't need all that.
Yeah, I guess we got to be better examples too.
We do. We definitely got to be better examples. But as a black man living in this country, it's very important for me to try to uplift every black woman that I see. You know what I mean? Like, it's just, hey, baby, you having a good day? You know what I mean? Like, you look good today. Your hair's nice. Your skin's glowing. Keep it up. Put a smile on your face.
You're like, I don't want that.
You know what I mean? Walk.
I don't want that.
I do this on a daily basis, though. I would like, walk with confidence.
Like,
I tell them that. I was like,
I'm just compelled to tell you.
No, I literally, what I do,
I
I instill confidence and motivation. That's like my main point. That's my main thing to do. So I just try to motivate them to be confident. Let them know, like, hey, look, be confident in yourself. You are a force to be reckoned with out here. A lot of people envy you and a lot of people fear you because they know your power. Embrace that power and walk in it.
And
This
that's what
dude's
I tell them.
preaching.
You said walk in it.
And walk in your power.
Walk
Like,
in
hey,
it,
walk
man.
with it.
Now you're
You know
telling
what I
the
mean?
truth,
Embrace
man.
it.
That's
And
right.
once you do that, you'll start feeling good about yourself and everything will change.
I think we all probably we need to smile more.
We do. Too many people just have that down look, that depressed feeling for what? You're alive, you're breathing.
Or
Smile. You got a lot to smile about.
just a resting face.
Yeah.
No, seriously, I think we all.
I try to smile at
need to
everybody.
smile
When
for
I
them.
see you, if you ever meet me and I look at you and I'll smile at you like, hey. But I'm smiling now and I'm talking.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, the
Like,
thing is just promoting positivity, man.
Yes.
Promoting positivity, black love always. So appreciate y'all fellas, man, for tuning in, joining me today and just sharing with the people, a little bit of our thoughts. So appreciate y'all for listening. Like I said, follow the IG page at Cavalier Convos. And we got more episodes coming. This is episode 6. And God bless everybody. Appreciate y'all.
Peace out.
one love.